Plymouth sitting at just 2 degrees Celsius this morning, whilst Aberdeen enjoys a comparatively balmy 7 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly. Cornwall colder than the Scottish Highlands. Is your area about to face the most dramatic temperature swing we've seen this winter? Right now, 12 counties across England and Wales are under Met Office yellow warnings for persistent rain, affecting nearly 8 million people, with flood alerts already in place across the Midlands and southwest. Over the next 12 minutes, I'll give you exact timings for when this changes, what S arriving this weekend, and why tomorrow S forecast update is absolutely critical. Drop your location in the comments right now, your city or county, and I'll include personalized forecasts in tomorrow S video. Let me deliver on that promise immediately. London, you are looking at 5 degrees today, climbing to 8 tomorrow afternoon, then a sharp drop to 3 degrees by Sunday morning. Manchester, current temperature 4 degrees, rising to 9 degrees Friday. Weekend turning considerably colder with overnight frost likely. Birmingham sits at 6 degrees now, peaking at 10 degrees Thursday, then back down to 4 degrees Saturday. Glasgow, steady at 7 degrees through Friday, dropping to 2 degrees by Sunday with possible sleet. Cardiff facing 6 degrees today. Mild spell continues until Saturday, when temperatures tumble to just 1 degree. Belfast, you are at 5 degrees currently, climbing to 8 degrees Friday before that Arctic air arrives. Now, here is what nobody else is talking about yet. The Met Office Unified model and the European model are showing completely different scenarios for Sunday night into Monday morning. This isn't just academic meteorology. This difference affects whether you refacing heavy rain or significant snow, and it all hinges on a low-pressure system currently developing over the Atlantic. We'll come back to exactly what this means for specific regions, but first let me walk you through what is happening right now. The current unsettled spell we are experiencing is being driven by a succession of Atlantic depressions moving across Ireland and Scotland. These weather systems are bringing persistent rain, particularly affecting western coasts. Across Lancashire, Cumbria, and North Wales, we've already seen 70 to 90 millimetres of rain since Sunday. That's more than half the average February rainfall in just 4 days. The saturated ground means even modest rainfall now translates into immediate flooding concerns. For those of you in the southeast, Dover, Brighton, and Hastings, you've been relatively sheltered so far, but that changes tonight. A more organised band of rain pushes eastward this evening, arriving around 6 o'clock in Kent, spreading to Sussex by 8 o'clock, reaching Essex and Suffolk by midnight. Rainfall rates of 5 to 8 millimetres per hour, so quite persistent rather than torrential, but enough to create surface water on roads during the evening commute. Let me just clarify that actually. I should be more precise about those rainfall rates. The heaviest pulses will be across Kent between 7 and 9 o'clock this evening, where we could see brief periods of 10 to 12 millimetres per hour. That is the kind of rain where your windscreen wipers struggle to keep up. This matters particularly for the M25 between junctions 1 and 5, the M20 approaching the Channel Tunnel, and the A2 corridor moving up to the Midlands. Now, Nottingham, Leicester, and Coventry, you are in for a bit of a mixed bag over the next 48 hours. Current conditions remain cloudy with occasional drizzle, temperatures hovering between 5 and 7 degrees. Tomorrow brings a brief respite, a few sunny spells breaking through during the afternoon, temperatures nudging up to 9 or 10 degrees. But, and this is rather important, that clearance is temporary. By Friday evening, the next system arrives from the west. Wait until you see what is developing for the weekend. This is where it gets interesting, particularly for northern England and Scotland. The jet stream, which has been positioned well to our south this week, begins to buckle and shift northward. This creates what meteorologists call a battleground zone, where mild Atlantic air collides with much colder air trying to push down from Scandinavia, Leeds, Sheffield, and Newcastle. Friday starts mild, around 8 to 9 degrees, but watch what happens Friday night. Temperatures don't just fall, they collapse. By Saturday morning, we are talking about 2 to 3 degrees, feeling more like -2 when you factor in the wind chill. That wind picks up considerably, gusting to 60 to 70 kilometres per hour across the Pennines. If you are travelling over higher routes, the M62 Trans-Pennine section, the A66 Snake Pass, will all see difficult conditions. York, your Friday evening looks particularly unsettled. Rain arrives around 5 o'clock, turning heavier through the evening rush hour. Then, and here is the crucial bit, as temperatures drop overnight, there's a genuine possibility of that rain turning to sleet or wet snow over higher ground. We are not talking about significant accumulations at this stage, but enough to make roads treacherous, particularly untreated minor roads and rural areas. Scotland faces 2 distinct scenarios. Edinburgh and Glasgow, the Met Office model suggests rain Friday night transitioning to sleet by Saturday morning, clearing to sunny intervals and scattered showers by afternoon. However, the European model shows a deeper low tracking further north, bringing more persistent precipitation and lower temperatures. The difference is whether you see a centimetre or two of slush or 5 to 10 centimetres of proper snow Saturday morning. Aberdeen and Inverness, Friday night temperatures drop to 0 or -1, Saturday staying around 1 to 2 degrees all day. Snow showers likely over higher ground in the Highlands and Cairngorms, where we could see 15 to 20 centimetres by Sunday morning. Right then, let us shift attention to Wales. Swansea and Cardiff have been catching the brunt of Atlantic systems this week. That trend continues through Thursday, with further outbreaks of rain, temperatures remaining 7 to 9 degrees through Friday. Saturday brings that change I've been discussing. Colder air floods in from the north, temperatures dropping to 3 to 4 degrees. Blustery showers following, some wintry over the Brecon Beacons and Snowdonia. Bangor and North Wales coast, you are more exposed to northerly winds Saturday and Sunday. Showers will be frequent, temperatures struggling to reach 5 degrees. For those planning outdoor activities in Snowdonia, conditions will be challenging with the freezing level dropping to around 600 metres Saturday. Do check back tomorrow because those overnight model runs will be absolutely crucial for refining these weekend snow forecasts. The difference of just 50 miles in where that low pressure system tracks changes everything for the England-Wales border counties. Northern Ireland, Belfast and Derry. Your pattern mirrors Western Scotland quite closely. Friday stays relatively mild, around 7 to 8 degrees, with rain developing through the evening. That rain potentially turns to sleet overnight, Friday into Saturday, particularly over higher ground in counties Antrim and Down. Saturday sees temperatures around 3 to 4 degrees with blustery showers, some wintry, especially inland and over the Mourne Mountains. Now, there's one detail that concerns me most looking at this forecast, and it is not actually the cold or the potential snow, it is the compounding factors. We've had persistent rain all week, the ground is saturated, river levels are elevated. Now we're re-adding rapid temperature drops and strong winds to that scenario. This combination creates multiple hazards simultaneously. Flooding from the existing rain, ice forming on saturated surfaces as temperatures plunge, and wind potentially bringing down trees that are standing in waterlogged soil. Cambridge, Oxford, and the home counties, this is particularly relevant for you. Friday looks deceptively mild and quiet. Temperatures around 9 to 10 degrees, perhaps a few bright spells. But Friday night into Saturday, temperatures crash. Any standing water from this week's rain could freeze on untreated paths and minor roads. It is not dramatic. It won to make headlines, but it is the kind of hazard that catches people unaware Saturday morning. Bristol and Exeter, your weekend looks unsettled, but not as cold as areas further north. Saturday temperatures around 5 to 6 degrees with sunny spells and blustery showers. Sunday similar, perhaps a degree cooler. The main concern for the southwest is continued exposure to Atlantic weather systems. Plymouth and Penzance, by Monday morning you could see another significant rainfall episode. The latest ECMWF run shows 20 to 30 millimetres of rain Monday morning across Cornwall and West Devon. That's on top of everything we've already had. Flood warnings likely to remain in place. Southampton, Portsmouth and Brighton, the south coast generally stays milder than inland areas thanks to the maritime influence. Saturday and Sunday temperatures around 6 to 7 degrees, blustery showers, nothing too dramatic for you. The bigger story is the contrast with what's happening just 50 to 80 kilometres inland. The Downs and Chilterns could see sleet or wet snow while you're just getting cold rain. I know this isn't ideal for anyone planning weekend activities, but there is some hope in this forecast. By the middle of next week, we are looking at potential for high pressure to build in from the Atlantic. This would bring more settled conditions, lighter winds and temperatures recovering to around 8 to 10 degrees for most areas. There is still some uncertainty about the timing, but it is looking increasingly likely that the unsettled cold spell is relatively brief. Unfortunately for those of you in the north and Scotland, before we get to that quieter spell, we have to get through this weekend's active weather. Liverpool and Blackpool, the northwest, faces particularly windy conditions Saturday. The pressure gradient tightens as that low moves through, bringing gusts of 70 to 80 kilometres per hour to exposed coastal areas. Ferry services across the Irish Sea will likely see disruptions. The Mersey Tunnel approaches could see difficult driving conditions with crosswinds affecting high-sided vehicles. Scarborough and the northeast coast, you are looking at similar wind concerns, but with the added complication of possible snow showers streaming in from the North Sea Saturday afternoon and evening. These 1T amount to much in coastal areas, maybe a brief dusting, but 10 to 15 kilometres inland, particularly over the North York Moors. Accumulations of 3 to 5 centimetres are quite possible. The Midlands through Sunday, Birmingham, Coventry, Leicester expect a blustery day with sunshine and showers. Temperatures around 4 to 5 degrees, feeling closer to 0 in the wind. Monday starts to show signs of that improvement I mentioned. Winds easing, showers becoming less frequent. It's not warm or sunny, but it's less actively unpleasant than the weekend. Manchester and Liverpool. By Monday, you are looking at partly cloudy skies, occasional showers, temperatures recovering to around 7 degrees. Tuesday potentially reaches 9 degrees with longer dry spells. That is the trend we're seeing across England and Wales generally, a gradual improvement through early next week. Scotland's story extends a day or two longer. Edinburgh and Glasgow, Monday still looks rather cold and showery, around 3 to 4 degrees. Tuesday begins that recovery, up to 6 degrees with showers becoming less frequent. But you will need to wait until Wednesday for genuinely quieter conditions with high pressure finally establishing itself. Let me be clear about something. These weekend snow forecasts, particularly for northern England and the Midlands, they were not set in stone yet. The models are showing this could go either way at this stage. 50 miles difference in the track of that low pressure system is the difference between rain and snow for cities like Sheffield, Manchester and Birmingham. Tomorrow morning, as model runs should clarify this considerably. Do check back tomorrow because I'll have much more specific guidance about snow potential once we see those updated forecasts. According to the latest model runs, there is also a possibility of something more significant developing mid-next week. I am seeing hints of a Scandinavian blocking pattern, which could redirect our weather into a more easterly regime, potentially bringing much colder continental air. It's far from certain at this range, but worth monitoring. I'll keep you updated as we get more model agreement. For those asking about longer-term trends, there is increasing confidence that February overall will be colder than average, particularly the second half. The jet stream positioning suggests we will be more vulnerable to cold Arctic and continental air masses rather than milder Atlantic flows. Right, let me pull this together for you. The next 72 hours, we transition from mild and wet to cold and blustery. Friday is the pivot day. Western areas turn colder first, that cold spreading east Friday night. Saturday is the most challenging day with strong winds, low temperatures, and wintry showers, snow mainly over higher ground, but potentially to lower levels in the north. Sunday remains cold and showery, but winds ease slightly. By Monday, we start a gradual improvement, high pressure building, winds dropping, temperatures slowly recovering. Key concerns, flooding ongoing from this week's rain, rapid freeze Friday night where surfaces are still wet, strong winds Saturday affecting transport and potentially causing structural damage in exposed areas, snow mainly over hills, but watch out for lower level snow in Scotland and northern England. Saturday morning, compounded hazards where wind, cold and saturated ground combine. There is one location that could see something completely unexpected this weekend, and I'll reveal which one that is in tomorrow's update once the overnight models come in. I've got my suspicions based on current trends, but I want to see confirmation before I call it. This forecast comes with the usual caveats about uncertainty. Weather forecasting 5 days out is still an evolving science. We've got good confidence about the broad pattern, cold and unsettled weekend, improving early next week. We've got lower confidence about specific details like exact snow amounts and precisely which locations see snow versus rain. That's why these daily updates are so important. The picture becomes clearer as we get closer to the event. Tomorrow morning, video will have specific town-by-town breakdowns for Saturday's snow potential based on the latest high-resolution models. I'll also be diving deeper into that potential pattern change for mid-month. And if you dropped your location in the comments, I'll do my best to include personalized forecasts for as many of you as possible. I am genuinely interested in helping you prepare for what's coming. Weather affects all of us differently, whether it is your commute, your outdoor plans, or just knowing whether to dig out the winter coat. That's why I do these daily updates rather than just a weekly overview. Weather changes, forecasts evolve, and you deserve the most current information. Next video drops tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. We'll have those overnight model runs processed by then, and I'll give you the clearest picture possible for the weekend ahead. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, particularly if you are traveling Friday evening or Saturday. And seriously, drop your location in the comments. I read every